Chapter 760 of the National Electrical Code addresses fire alarm systems. Within this chapter, specific requirements for duct detectors are outlined in Section 760.121a. This section states that duct detectors must be powered from a listed fire alarm control unit or a listed power supply. Furthermore, Section 760.121a mandates that duct detectors be connected to a listed fire alarm control unit or a listed receiving device. Regarding the use of BX cable, which is a type of armored cable, Section 760.129b specifies that wiring for fire alarm circuits shall be installed in metal raceways, armored cables, or non-metallic raceways listed for use with fire alarm circuits. Section 760.129c clarifies that BX cable is a recognized armored cable and is therefore acceptable for use in fire alarm system wiring. Considering these NEC requirements, it is permissible to connect the existing BX cable to a UL fire-rated 24 volts DC power supply. This approach offers a listed power source for the duct detectors, enabling reset functionality at the fire alarm control panel. In summary, based on the NEC provisions, utilizing the existing BX cable to connect the duct detectors to a UL fire-rated 24 volts DC power supply is a viable solution. This approach is expected to meet the requirements of the fire marshal and satisfy the authority having jurisdiction, also known as the AHJ. It is important to remember to consult with a licensed electrician to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. The authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, is the organization, office, or individual responsible for enforcing the requirements of a code or standard, or for approving equipment, materials, an installation, or a procedure. The AHJ can be a federal, state, local, or other regional department or individual such as a fire marshal, building official, electrical inspector, or others having statutory authority. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, is a widely adopted code for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is part of the National Fire Code series published by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. The NEC is updated every 3 years. A fire alarm control panel, or FAP, is the main control unit for a fire alarm system. It receives signals from initiating devices such as smoke detectors and manual pull stations and activates notification appliances such as horns and strobes. It also monitors the integrity of the fire alarm system wiring and components. A listed power supply is a power supply that has been tested and certified by a nationally recognized testing laboratory to meet specific safety standards. The listing mark indicates that a product has been evaluated and found to comply with the applicable requirements. Armored cable, or AC, is a type of electrical cable that has a flexible metallic sheath to protect the conductors from physical damage. BX cable is a type of AC cable that has an interlocked metal tape armor. Metal raceways are enclosed channels that are used to protect and route electrical wiring. They can be made of metal, such as steel or aluminum, or non-metallic materials, such as PVC. Non-metallic raceways are enclosed channels that are used to protect and route electrical wiring. They are made of non-metallic materials, such as PVC. UL is a global safety science company that provides testing, inspection, certification, and validation services. UL develops standards and test procedures for a wide range of products, including electrical equipment. Consulting with a licensed electrician is important to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Licensed electricians have the knowledge and experience to properly install electrical wiring and equipment in a safe and code-compliant manner. They can also help to identify potential hazards and ensure that the installation meets the requirements of the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ. In the context of fire alarm systems, a duct detector is a type of smoke detector that is installed in the ductwork of a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. Duct detectors are designed to detect smoke in the air flowing through the ducts and to initiate an alarm if smoke is detected. This can help to prevent the spread of smoke and fire throughout a building. The NEC provides specific requirements for the installation of duct detectors, including the requirement that they be powered from a listed fire alarm control unit or a listed power supply. The NEC also requires that duct detectors be connected to a listed fire alarm control unit or a listed receiving device. This ensures that the fire alarm system can properly monitor the duct detectors and respond to an alarm condition. The use of BX cable for fire alarm system wiring is permitted by the NEC, provided that the BX cable is installed in accordance with the code requirements. The NEC requires that wiring for fire alarm circuits be installed in metal raceways, armored cables, or non-metallic raceways listed for use with fire alarm circuits. BX cable is a recognized armored cable and is therefore acceptable for use in fire alarm system wiring. When connecting BX cable to a UL fire rated 24 volts DC power supply, it is important to ensure that the connection is made in a safe and code compliant manner. The NEC requires that all electrical connections be made in a junction box or other enclosure that is listed for the purpose. The junction box or enclosure must be properly grounded to protect against electrical shock. It is also important to use the correct size and type of wire connectors to ensure a secure and reliable connection. The UL fire rated 24 volts DC power supply must be listed for use with fire alarm systems. The power supply must be capable of providing the necessary voltage and current to power the duct detectors. The power supply must also have a battery backup to ensure that the duct detectors continue to operate in the event of a power outage. The battery backup must be sized to provide at least 24 hours of standby power. The installation of the fire alarm system should be inspected by the authority having jurisdiction, or ODJ, to ensure that it complies with all applicable codes and regulations. The AHJ may require that the fire alarm system be tested to verify that it is operating properly. The testing should be performed by a qualified fire alarm technician. The fire alarm system should be maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The fire alarm system should be inspected and tested on a regular basis to ensure that it is operating properly. The frequency of the inspections and testing should be determined by the authority having jurisdiction, or ODJ. The fire alarm system should be repaired or replaced as needed to ensure that it continues to operate properly. The use of wireless transmitters to monitor the contacts in the duct detectors is permitted by the NEC, provided that the wireless transmitters are listed for use with fire alarm systems. The wireless transmitters must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The wireless transmitters must be supervised by the fire alarm control panel to ensure that they are operating properly. The fire alarm control panel must be capable of receiving signals from the wireless transmitters and initiating an alarm if a problem is detected. The wireless transmitters must be powered by a battery backup to ensure that they continue to operate in the event of a power outage. The battery backup must be sized to provide at least 24 hours of standby power. The use of 14/2BX cable for the power supply to the duct detectors is acceptable, provided that the cable is installed in accordance with the NEC requirements. 14/2BX cable must be protected from physical damage. The 14/2BX cable must be properly grounded. The 14/2BX cable must be connected to a circuit breaker that is sized to protect the cable from overcurrent. The circuit breaker should be sized no larger than 15 amps for 14 American wire gauge wiring. The NEC provides specific requirements for the installation of fire alarm systems. These requirements are designed to ensure that fire alarm systems are installed in a safe and code-compliant manner. It is important to consult with a licensed electrician and the authority having jurisdiction, or ODJ, to ensure that the fire alarm system complies with all applicable codes and regulations. By following the NEC requirements, you can ensure that the fire alarm system will operate properly and provide reliable protection against fire. Fire alarm systems play a crucial role in protecting lives and property. A properly designed and installed fire alarm system can provide early warning of a fire, allowing occupants to evacuate safely and minimizing damage to property. It is important to take the time to ensure that the fire alarm system is installed correctly and that it is maintained in good working order. In conclusion, using the existing BX cable for the power supply to the duct detectors is a viable option, provided that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. It is important to consult with a licensed electrician and the authority having jurisdiction or to ensure that the installation meets the requirements. By following the NEC requirements, you can ensure that the fire alarm system will operate properly and provide reliable protection against fire. To reiterate key points, firstly, duct detectors must be powered from a listed fire alarm control unit or a listed power supply. Secondly, wiring for fire alarm circuit should be installed in metal raceways, armored cables, or non-metallic raceways listed for use with fire alarm circuits. Thirdly, BX cable is considered an acceptable armored cable for fire alarm system wiring. Therefore, connecting the existing BX cable to a UL fire rated 24 volts DC power supply is generally permissible, enabling detector set at the fire alarm control panel. However, always verify compliance with local codes and regulations and consult with qualified professionals for installation. Remember that the fire marshal and the AHA have the final say on whether or not an installation is acceptable. It is therefore important to work closely with them to ensure that the fire alarm system meets their requirements. By following these guidelines, you can help to ensure that the fire alarm system will provide reliable protection against fire. Always prioritize safety and code compliance in all electrical installations.